Folks, welcome back to another episode of the Keep Going podcast with Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Today, kind of like a little bit of a life update, a little bit of adversity that I've recently faced, nothing major. A lesson, just touch on a couple things, keep it brief, keep it quick. For those of you that don't know, I'm taking part in 75 Hard. I'm 52 days in. I will end on, I believe, July 15th. Also, for those of you that don't know, I just traveled. I went to Texas to see some public speakers that I'm big fans of. Ed Milet, David Goggins was there. I wasn't able to see him personally. I mean, it was really, really eventful. Eric Thomas was also there. Ed Milet was really moving. It's cool. Like, you could see the authenticity with the people that really mean what they say, and you could feel it. I know even the guys I was with definitely said, like, Ed Milet, like, blew everybody away. Like, it was crazy. Just the difference. And again, obviously, other guys, not to say they're amateurs by any means, just because I didn't know them does not make them amateurs. I think they're just not as established, maybe not as comfortable. Ed Milet's message really relayed really well, and it was really cool just to be in the room. But so that was one part of traveling. Stuck with 75 Hard while I was there, stuck with marathon prep. I think I banged out 7 miles in Texas that Saturday morning. Really nice runs there. It was fun, it was cool. And then I just spent 12 days in Aruba. A little reset halfway through the year. Spent some time with my mom and my dad. My little sister came as well, but the first week was, I kept joking that it was like the adults only weekend. It was me and some family friends and my mom. Had some really good conversation, really good food, and it was just relaxing. Obviously doing 75 Hard, working out twice a day, that's pretty taxing. So to do it while on vacation, it was a lot. But to me, it's kind of what I enjoy doing. So I don't really look at it as a form of punishment or like tough tasks. It was kind of cool and exciting. Like anything, obviously you're gonna have ups and downs. This marathon prep is going really smooth. Again, my coach is Jeff Cunningham, killing the plan, and I'm really just seeing progression that I've never seen when I set these plans in place for myself personally. I usually push myself too hard too quick and kind of burn out. The way Jeff structures his running scheduling is awesome, and I never feel burnt out. I get excited for my big runs, I get excited for my easy runs, and then the Wednesday turf workouts have been like, I actually wake up looking forward to them. It's really cool. That's what I did Wednesday. I left, woke up, hit the turf, and then had to fly there, and then I was off Thursday. Friday I had 4 miles easy, crushed it. My times were getting ridiculous. We were actually going to PR my mile in July. Was definitely going to run in the 5s, not sure how low. Again, I'll just PR it later on. But Friday, while in Aruba, running the 4 miles, I think I was like 3.98 in, and I rolled my ankle. I was very susceptible to this in the past. Whenever I would play basketball, like pick up basketball, when I was overweight, I would always roll my ankle. So kind of surprising that it happened here. Kind of misstep. The streets are narrow, and a car just wasn't giving me any room. And the sidewalk ended, so I kind of just stepped, and where I stepped happened to be a divot, and kind of just ankle touched the floor. I'm sure most people know what that feels like. Not fun. 0.02 left, finished the run, had to walk back to the resort, and I knew walking back I could feel it like pulsing, and I just knew that it was going to be a little bit of a rehab for it, and obviously just have to stay off it for a little bit. And now obviously I'm doing 75 Hard, have to do 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside. What else to do but swim in the ocean? So that's kind of what I dove right into. I was lifting, so ran that morning. Then I had to lift, kind of just like hobbled around the gym and did what I could. Obviously just did upper body. I just lifted legs the first time yesterday. Felt okay, just had to go light. Obviously I'm in Aruba, ocean's there, not a lot of waves. I was like, let's dive back into swimming. I've swam in the past, never took it serious enough. I would do my own triathlons. I did a half Ironman by myself. And I incorporated swimming, obviously. Very amateur swimmer, very amateur biker. But I thought, I have to get these 2 workouts in. I can't even do like a 45-minute walk because I couldn't really walk well. So why not? So the first day, went out there, swam a mile. I think it took me like almost the full 45 minutes. So, I was like, all right, well, if this is going to take me 45 minutes, it fits the workout protocol for 75 Hard. And, it's tough. My back was on fire. My arms were on fire. I think I had arms to lift that day, and it was a struggle. And then like anything, the more you consistently work at it, the better you get. So I think I went from 40 minutes the first day to 38 minutes the next day. Then the day after, I tested myself with a 1.5 miles, and I finished that in I think it was 54 minutes. So obviously my times were getting better. And then my last, I wanted to PR my swimming mile, and I did it in 36 minutes. So that was cool. I was pretty excited. And then actually a snap memory popped up. And when I did this in 2020, when I was running, occasionally would swim miles. Again, anybody that doesn't swim, of course, a mile sounds like a long distance, same with running. But when you do that, it's not really that long when you're in that world. Again, I'm not in that world, very amateur. But so it's tough, and it takes time. But I know that I spoke to some friends that are swimmers. There's people that could bang out a mile in 25 minutes, which is insane. There's other people that it takes an hour. So there's obviously all that middle ground. But yeah, snap memory popped up. And when I was doing it in the past in 2020, it took me, I think it said 58 minutes to swim a mile. A mile is 1,760 yards. I forget that what that's in meters, but I always just go by my watch in yards. But it's kind of cool to see 2 years later, haven't really been swimming, but to just put your mind to it, consistently work at it day after day, my times dropped dramatically. I mean, the last one I swam in 36 minutes, I started, it took me 45. It's just cool. It's cool when you push yourself and throw a new task at yourself when you're maybe not comfortable in that field. And that's kind of where it comes from, is the discomfort. It's just that mental hurdle of I was enjoying running my miles. So it's funny that I had some adversity, kind of flare up in the form of forcing me to do a different workout. And now I dive in the water and not used to it. And, I'll be honest that after finishing the first mile, I was excited to swim the next day. And then I was kind of excited to test myself for the 1.5 miles. And then I was not really excited to PR my mile. And I was kind of just wiped out from swimming. Anybody that does it knows just being in the water alone, it just wipes you out. So I would be shot all day. I felt like I needed a nap all day. But it's cool. It just shows the gradual build of anything, that if you just keep pushing and keep working at it, you're going to get better. And my form got no better. My breathing obviously got better because I got more used to it. And then just how I would work it, I would swim from buoy to buoy, and I think they were they varied in distances, but some were 50 yards, some were 75 yards. And luckily, I was able to stand at all points. So just go on my tippy toe whenever I needed a breather, catch a breather, and then just go again. Something that actually was kind of funny while I was doing this, kind of popped up, was for some weird reason, and this is just something we always do to ourselves that I realize. It's easy to find things to be scared of, or the negative. And this first day didn't have a thought about it. Second day, a little bit of a stormy day, sharks just popped in my head, which is you're swimming in the ocean alone. It was probably 7 a.m. Not many people out on the beach, basically no one in the water. And I'm sitting here just thinking about sharks. I think I was 10 minutes into my second day of swimming, and sharks were just heavy on my mind. And I'm just sitting there, and it's weird because it's one of those things where people could say oh, punch it in the nose or do this and that. To be completely honest, I think if I'm out there with the shark, I'm there's no, what am I doing? I am not skilled. I'm not trained in this. I have nothing. It's not going to go well. I'll tell you that. And it was kind of one of those things where so for the next 35 minutes, I just freaked myself out. And then the next day getting into the water, I kind of just had this moment where I was just again, sharks popped in my head again, but I was just there's nothing I could do anyway. And then it also brought me back to thinking of the plane ride there, or the plane ride to Texas. I'm not someone that gets fearful from flights, but I know obviously it is a big concern for a lot of people, and it makes complete sense. But I kind of lean into that where there's nothing I can do. Of course, you never want anything to happen to you. Those are just situations a shark attack, a plane, God forbid anything bad happening on a plane, out of your control. So kind of leaned into that. And then I don't know who this child was, but little Johnny, the third day I was swimming, just screamed shark. And I would like to think of myself as a nice human being, but I had some dark thoughts of bad things happening to little Johnny in that water when he screamed shark, because it's not funny. No one was laughing. I for sure was not laughing. It was me, him, and I think his dad and a friend in the water. And they were ahead of me. I don't think they even saw me, but the kid screamed shark. And I just started to get over it. I wasn't happy about it. I thought, hey, you know what? What if I swim over him, just rip him underwater, no one ever sees him again? Obviously, I did not do that, but we got over it. I didn't say anything to little Johnny. I get it. He's joking around with his friends. Just, you have a man in the ocean. He's been swimming for the past 3 days, just absolutely freaking himself out. And you have a little kid screaming shark. It's really not funny. So obviously on vacation, want to enjoy yourself. So I was modifying meals a lot to make it work for 75 hard. I'm intuitively eating, so I'm just kind of eating healthy whole foods. I wouldn't say as much as I want. I'm trying to stay either eating like maintenance. Some days I'll go a little heavier. I'm kind of carb cycling. So I'll eat a little more if I know I'm doing a little more. Workout wise, eat a little less if I know I'm doing a little less. Still was able to enjoy myself, go to dinners, but just in a healthier manner, and make 75 hard a priority. And to kind of piggyback off of the, rolling my ankle, deciding to, hey, we're just going to go after swimming. Could have easily chalked it up. I mean, I'm on an island. There's obviously a lot of people drinking. Family and friends were there. Some of them were drinking, having a good time, which of course I was having a good time as well, but just my way, which seems to be a little different, which is not a bad thing at all. We obviously all have ways that we enjoy ourselves, and how you handle that is your own prerogative. Obviously rolling the ankle, thinking like, okay, well, I think it was 7 or 8 miles on Saturday I need to run. What am I going to do? Kind of got a little anxious at first. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could just kind of eat whatever I want and drink if I really wanted, and kind of just chalk it up. And I was sitting there and I think I was like 45 days in or something long in, where I'm just like, am I really going to like just kind of go back on all of this? And then what am I going to do? Get home, heal the ankle up, and then just restart? So obviously didn't want to do that, and kind of just, battle through. And while battling through, I kind of learned, again, it's small adversity. I mean, I rolled my ankle, nothing major happened here, but it's just the mental fortitude of like, I've built these systems in place that I don't create insane, massive change overnight. And again, I have this book here again because it's just so crucial, and it's been one of my favorite books. Obviously, I mean, I'm about to finish it, but it's just so crucial. Like it really is those small changes that people want that change overnight, or in a span of a week, or 30 days to get a six pack. When people say it all the time that we overanalyze what we could do in a year and undervalue what we could do in 5 to 10. So of course we all want the quick gratification, but if you were to just keep hammering and chipping away, those little systems that you put in place are actually more important than one drastic change you make. So an example that actually just popped in my head is something I used to do was I would water fast for like 24 hours, because I knew that obviously you're not eating, and if you work out, you're burning calories. One, I would be shot, and didn't work for me. I didn't do it in a healthy manner. You're basically starving yourself. It's really what it comes down to. I would have big cheat meals, and then to get over that, the next day I would kind of water fast to be like, oh, well, this will kind of balance out what I did yesterday of eating 10,000 calories, when it's just a crazy way to live, where, again, something I struggle with food is moderation. So if I were to able just to have a couple things that one day, one, I wouldn't feel like that the next day, and two, you're not putting yourself in this starvation mode, which isn't solving anything anyway. Realistically, if you just get back into healthy eating and a normal routine, you're just going to lose the weight. It's that quick fix that we all look for and long for, and it's these little systems that I've learned that when I put these little systems in place, that's what propels success. I look back, and I said this in the last episode or 2 episodes ago, I look back and that's when I see the most change. Is not, I do a water fast for 24 hours, or I go run a marathon and now I burned X amount of calories and now I can eat whatever I want that day. It's not when it comes. It's the progress to getting to those events. So the progress to training for the marathon, or the progress of doing a full bodybuilding prep, and it's just the 16 weeks what you've built and the knowledge you gain. So the knowledge you gain from now, I'm more insightful to, one, help myself and help others with diet, with training, with everything. So it's these little systems that I put in place that actually make the change. And these systems don't have to just be for physical achievements or moments. They could be mentally as well. So I have little systems in place as well that keep me grounded. Things I do in the morning. I've ran through my morning routine. So I meditate in the morning. It helps me. It helps me put things in perspective. I write down things I'm grateful for. When times where I get stressed or anxious, I kind of, look back to what did I write down this morning? And it could be X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, well, now in the grand scheme of what's going on right now, what's really important? And most of the times, what you're dealing with in the moment is only big in that moment. So if you could compartmentalize and take a step back and realize this isn't the end all be all, you're able to work through it. And those are little systems that I put in place emotionally, mentally, that help me. But again, these little systems don't have to just be for physical attributes. And to kind of touch on this too, one thing that I've really learned about myself, and the swimming was a prime example of it, how my times just kept dropping. I'm an amateur in a lot of the events that I kind of throw at myself. But one of the things that a lot of people struggle with that I've kind of, again, created a system for and became very, very good at is just being consistent. I mean, if you follow me on social media, you'll see I started those mortgage videos and, I mean, knock on wood, haven't missed one. I haven't missed a single Thursday. And again, every week's not great, but it's just kind of putting content out there. Same with my quotes in the morning. Same with my workouts. It's kind of same with healthy eating. Same with meditating. Same with reading. I kind of, when I start something, I'm really good at just going all in on that thing and just, it now becomes a habit. And I think that's kind of something that just differentiates me. And I'm not saying that people look at me as I'm really not some sort of like stud athlete. I think I do things that most people think are kind of like a little crazy, for lack of a better term. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of them. So that's why I do them. In the morning, I would literally limp over to a beach chair, set up what I had to set up for the day. And then I would limp into the water, dive into the water, and then swim for 45 minutes. And I'm sure people were like, what is this kid doing? Like, someone that knows how to swim was probably like, what's going on out here? Because the form just like, in the beginning, I was falling apart after like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, just gassed. I'm not used to it. So I'm sure it was like, I was getting looks at like, what's going on? An older guy made a comment like, what are you training for? And I was literally said nothing, because I'm not, like, technically I'm not swimming for a specific reason as far as like a training for a swimming event. So I probably sounded like a psycho, but you don't care. You really don't care. And I think it's very apparent. Anybody that follows me, I don't give a fuck, to be quite honest. And I don't mean that in the slightest bit of arrogant way. I just mean like I'm doing it for me, and I'm personally growing from it, and I feel it and I know it. I'm doing it to keep the promises I make to myself. I'm doing it to become the best version of myself, which I've previously spoke about. And I don't know, why not challenge myself as much as I can? And physically is one of the ways that I love to do it. So I'm going to keep doing this until I can't anymore, because one day I can't. One day I won't be able to, go on a vacation with my family. Obviously, I would like to have kids of my own, so it's not going to be easy to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to swim for an hour, figure it out. But then even my body at some point, I see my grandmother is slowing down a lot, and I see that, and it's another thing to keep in the forefront of. Be grateful for what you do have now. One thing I'm very grateful for is movement and my ability to work out and do things and challenge myself. And it's a way that I grow mentally, so I'm going to just keep pushing that envelope until I can't anymore, or until I got to taper back, and then from there I'll find new things, or I'll find different workouts, different forms, different classes, anything. It's just something that propels me and that I love implementing in my life daily. And I know people talk about overtraining, but I switch up intensity, I switch up body parts. Like, it's, it keeps me grounded, so I'm not going to stop doing it. And I don't really care. Again, it goes back to that. Like, when you're chasing your own thing, and we all have it. We all have that one thing that you do. You don't give a fuck. Like, you really don't care what anybody else has to say or do about it. It's not an arrogant way. It's just, you're doing it for you. And then at the same time, when you're being authentic with that type of stuff, I feel like you kind of you affect other people in a positive manner. And it's something that I've had a couple people reach out to me this week, last week, and just like, oh, like the podcast thing is cool. Like, you're putting yourself out there. Like, it's, it's, again, I've spoken about it. It's something I was reluctant to do. I mean, I still, every single time I sit here, I'm like, this is wild. I could literally say whatever I want, which is dangerous. I look back at a younger version of me that would have laughed at all of this. And it's funny now to see that, like, I just have this, I don't give a attitude, but in a positive manner of, I want to better myself to help other people and to just be the best me for everyone around me. It's showing itself in areas of my life. And when, people reach out, and just so any type of sport, it's cool as well. I know, for example, I bring it up obviously a lot. When I was heavier, that first run was, I ran a quarter mile. I plan on running an ultra run that's 100 miles long, and I'm going to do it. And I plan on doing an Ironman. I have these giant goals that refer to myself as Fat Vin, but Fat Vin would have said, like, no way. And I think that's cool that these are like, now I tell someone I'm going to go run a marathon, and it's like, again, I'm no stud athlete or anything, but it's like, okay, like, that's kind of what he does now. And you kind of build that in yourself, because at one point that clearly was not what I did. At one point I ate a lot of buffalo chicken sandwiches, a lot of donuts, and not to say I was unhappy, but it's just not what I want anymore. But yeah, that's kind of this episode. If you like the content, please subscribe, like, and share with your friends, and see you next episode.